The Knicks win Game 2 and take a 2-0 series lead over the Cavaliers. I'm here with SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. And a big reason for this win was Josh Hart. I mean, when the Knicks went on an 18-0 run in the third quarter, he either scored or assisted on 14 points during that run. So a big quarter for him. But fans had a lot to say about his shooting or lack thereof in Game 1. He comes out in Game 2. 26 points, hits 5 threes. I mean, what do you think about his ability to bounce back in Game 2?
Yeah, look, I mean, he shot 40% from beyond the arc in the regular season, so the confidence is there. He works regularly on that outside shot, whether it's with Knicks shooting coach Peter Patton or others. He's always working on it. And, you know, I think the confidence for Josh Hart is never going to be shaken, regardless of what's going on outside, social media, whatever it may be. He's always going to be confident in himself. And he started out 0 for 3. And he was frustrated. He bit his jersey, and then he just started to get going. And the shot looked fluid, and he was a huge reason why the Knicks won. I like that 14 of 18 for the points. I think I'm going to use that in my article. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, Ian. But speaking of confidence, you can only imagine that Mikal Bridges' confidence is through the roof, or much higher than it was before the playoffs started, before that first series with the Hawks. I mean, over this 9-game win streak, he has been incredibly efficient. What do you think the difference has been? What have you seen from Mikal during that win streak?
One of the things that Mike Brown actually talked about, I asked him about it after the game, and he was saying that he had to call Mikal's number a little more often than he had been previously. He wanted to make sure that Mikal was in rhythm, was feeling like he was a part of the offense. And it's not just Mikal, it's OG, it's really everybody who's a regular in this rotation. You know, the ball is just moving. And I think the trust level on offense is as high as it's been in the Brunson era, maybe. I mean, the idea that they had, I think, 32 assists and
32 assists.
Makes, and Brunson 14 assists. It seems like no one's worried about when they're going to see the ball again or how many shots they're going to get in a certain period of time. The ball is finding the open shooter, and the ball has energy, as they say, and so offense is looking really good right now.
Yeah, we talk about this 9-game win streak. I mean, they win the first 2 games of this Eastern Conference Finals this year, but when you look back to last year, they lost the first 2. So what do you think has been the biggest difference for the Knicks this season?
Yeah, you want to say it's like a traditional growth period here for an NBA team. They get to the playoffs, they advance, they get knocked out, they advance further, they get knocked out, and they stay together. And the core of this Knicks team has stayed together through those experiences, in particular last year, the conference finals. You know, they lost Game 1, that shot by Halliburton, and then they dropped the second game, and it was pretty much over. It's flipped now for them, and I think experience is a big part of it. No one's panicking. Everybody's been here together in these scenarios, so they know how to handle it.
You can only imagine that they have some momentum, and we'll see how that comes into play. Game 3 on the road.
We are now joined by Mark Malusis and Ty Butler for more on the Knicks' convincing Game 2 win. Guys, what a reversal of fortune for Josh Hart, benched in Game 1, leading scorer in Game 2. Ty, what is it about Hart's makeup that helped him have a bounce-back game?
So once upon a time, we all watched The Last Dance and the infamous scene of Michael Jordan saying, "And I took that personal." Josh Hart, for the last 48 hours, took it personally when all he heard was, should he be a part of a starting lineup, that when he's in that starting lineup, they've gone to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. And so tonight, he sets the tone, playoff career high. We show you his numbers, 26 points. And he's like, I can do more than that. How about 7 assists and 4 rebounds? He was tremendous in this game. And in order for the Knicks to win a championship, which a lot of us are starting to believe they can do, they need him at their best, and that's in the starting lineup. And he proved tonight it was the correct decision to leave him in there.
Yeah, listen, I think Mike Brown has emphasized all season long, you know, you want to go out there and share the basketball. I don't know what's more stunning, Hart scoring 26 or he took 21 shots. I mean, that's the other aspect of it. But if you're going to leave a guy wide open, and that's basically what the Cleveland Cavaliers were doing with Jarrett Allen guarding him and leave him open on the outside, at some point in time, you got to make him pay. So Hart has struggled shooting from the outside. There's no doubt about it. You wouldn't look at him as being this offensive centerpiece when you're looking at the New York Knicks. But tonight, he had his night at Madison Square Garden. So as Ty pointed out, whether it be the benching in the fourth quarter, rightfully so, because Landry Shamet earned the playing time and played tremendous defense on Donovan Mitchell down the stretch and hit some big shots for the New York Knicks, or a case of him hearing some of the stuff and him stepping up and play tonight. He was an offensive star when this Knicks team needed it.
It's a daily double for Mike Brown. The adjustment win in game 1 works with Shamet, and then he gets a motivated Hart in game 2. All right, Mikal Bridges, 9 of 12 from the field. Moose, how is the perception of him and the feeling about his game changed in the postseason?
A ton. I mean, monumental. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a night and day difference. I mean, you look at Mikal Bridges. Everyone at the time, I mean, for a large stretch here, looked at Mikal Bridges and said, well, the Knicks overpaid, right? Let the emotions, Villanova, everything like that. Who exactly has given up the draft capital to go get Mikal Bridges? But, and for the rest of most of the regular season, you were a little concerned about what the role was for Mikal Bridges. But you started to see toward the tail end of that Atlanta series, and then in the Philly series, and now obviously first 2 games of this Cavaliers series, where Mikal Bridges has become more of that offensive player. You know he can go out there and guard. You know he can defend on the wing. They need him to be an offense. If you're going to win an NBA championship and take down Oak City or San Antonio because they're getting past the Cavaliers, you're going to need Mikal Bridges not only great defensively but offensively. And right now, if they win the NBA title, you could give up 10 first-round picks. It doesn't matter.
We don't really hear too much about the picks when he's playing this one. And as you mentioned, it started in Game 6 of that Hawks series. And it just feels like, because we've seen it now back-to-back years, he's a playoff riser. That Celtics series, the Knicks don't win without Mikal Bridges. His defense, and underrated, he had some big shots during those 20-point comebacks. And then tonight, man, where Jalen Brunson in that first half had 2 points, just 2 more than you and I had. The Knicks still had a lead. It was because of Josh Hart, but also Mikal Bridges providing that spark, and we saw him on both ends getting after it. He just looks much more comfortable and in a rhythm. And the Knicks fans have let him hear it. It hasn't gotten to his head and derailed him. This dude has been balling. You've got to give him massive credit.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We haven't heard about the draft picks in a while, but first loss, we'll hear about him again. All right, before the season, it was finals or bust for this ball club. They're now 2 wins away from the NBA Finals, thanks to their franchise record 9th straight playoff victory. Moose, is this run that they're on now more about the Knicks or their competition?
Well, it's a I mean, listen, I'm not going to go out there and rain on the Knicks parade. They've been unbelievable, right? But let's be perfectly honest. I mean, you took on a Philadelphia team that was basically 6 guys deep, and Joel Embiid couldn't run up and down the court, and nobody really thought the Cavaliers stood a chance. The Knicks were a 3-1 favorite going into this series. Now, when the Cavs are up 22 or 22 points with a tad under 8 minutes to go in game 1, no one thinks the Knicks are going to win that series. But I think it's a little combination of both. I think it's been an easy roll in terms of the opponents, but the Knicks have played spectacular basketball.
I think at some point the Knicks, who have won 50 games 3 straight seasons and are rightfully the NBA favorites coming out the Eastern Conference, have to get credit, because you can't continue to perform like this. They've got 10 wins in the playoffs, 9 of them by double digits. So I understand the lesser competition. You still got to go out there and perform, and they've done that.